Death Valley is the name given to 3,000 square miles of desert in California. Its incredibly fierce temperatures have reached as high as 136 degrees Fahrenheit. No dog in its right mind would ever come out in this midday sun.
Every time we extend the boundaries of man's capacity, we affirm our human dignity. Every record that is broken on the running track, in the air, on the salt flats, is a gesture of human independence. And finally, until you have experienced pain and learned to use it, until you have fought with it and conquered it, you can never be a champion.
Gary Shopland is an unusual breed of athlete, and Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas an appropriate starting point for his latest unusual feat. Shopland is an ultra-distance runner. That is, an athlete who runs distances greater than the marathon. His most recent endeavor, to run 500 miles through Nevada and Death Valley under the hottest suns of the Northern Hemisphere. Over 500 miles in 20 days. 26 miles, 1 marathon each day, in temperatures well over 100 degrees. It's not surprising he's the first athlete ever to set himself such an unusual challenge. But Shopland needs to set himself unusual challenges. He needs to push frontiers. He's not interested in where athletes have been, but in where they're going next. Tailing behind him at 5 miles an hour, the 3 members of his backup team, sports psychologist Steve Bull and physiologist Joe Doust, both lecturers from the Chelsea School of Human Movement in Eastbourne, and Chris Kidd, student of sports science and the team's paramedic. Sports psychologist, physiologist, paramedic. So what's the point of an expedition like this? For Gary Shopland, the answer is dead simple.
I've said I'm going to do it and I'm going to do it. I'm going to achieve this no matter what it takes. I've set my mind to doing it and I'm going to achieve it.
He'll be all right when he gets over the top.
Yeah, okay.
Shopland did the quadrathon, the world's toughest race, in 1983 and 1984. In the same period, he did the triathlon 8 times. And in 1985, he became tri-marathon champion. He's used to tough challenges. Between his numerous feats of endeavour and personal challenge, Shopland works as a lifeguard at the leisure pool in Eastbourne, coping with the boredom, planning his next expedition.
Expeditions are certainly not a thing you can rush. You've got to take your time. It's worth waiting for, just doing something worthwhile.
In 1984, Gary Shopland ran his toughest race. The entire length of the Andes Mountains of South America, 5,000 miles from Tierra del Fuego to Venezuela. But he was ill-prepared and nearly killed himself in the process. For his Death Valley venture, Shopland went for specialist help. For 3 months before setting out, he underwent a rigorous training schedule, supervised and monitored by the expedition's 3 professionals. Experienced athletes themselves, they shared in the grueling miles over the South Downs hills.
It's long, it's not a piece of cake running in Eastbourne, because all the miles I do are hilly. Every single mile I've got is hilly, which in Death Valley, at the early stages of the run, will be flat, getting hillier, which I prefer hills anyway to run on. So in fact, I'm an all-rounder as far as running's concerned, not only on the flat, but on the hills. So what Death Valley throws at me, I'm sure I can cope with.
Oh, it's all right, Blair.
To prepare him for the extreme temperatures of Nevada and California, they made him spend long hours each day in an environmental chamber at the School of Human Movement. Shopland got a foretaste of Death Valley. The others had the opportunity to study an athlete under very extreme conditions.
Yeah, the problem that he's got in Death Valley is that because the air temperature is higher than his body temperature, his skin temperature is going to rise, and in fact rise up to about 37 or so. That is more or less just a little bit below his core temperature. And that's the big problem that he's going to have. He can't lose any heat by sort of conduction or convection the way he must normally. The only way he can really lose it is by evaporation. But he's doing well now. He's up to, well, that's just over 1 litre in half an hour of water drunk. When he's out there, his problem's going to be, because he's running for so long, he's generating an awful lot of energy, he's losing an awful lot of fluid. So we've got here a procedure to give him that energy and to rehydrate him. So we've had him in the environmental chamber, a really hot environment, for 6 weeks now, improving his body's ability to cope with heat. He's very much better at that now. He's able to sweat 2 litres an hour worth of sweat, which will lose him a lot of heat when he's in Death Valley.
How's it feeling, Gary?
They observed his body under extreme conditions, and they monitored his mind.
Well, we're going to do some of this imagery then, okay? You ready?
Yeah.
Right, the first thing I want you to do, try and relax, keep on cycling, keep your steady pace as usual, try and relax, a bit like the relaxation we were doing yesterday, okay? I want you to keep cycling, keep your eyes closed, okay? So we're out there, we're in the desert, and we're running down the road.
Right, okay.
Can you see that?
No, not yet.
Okay, just spend half a minute trying to get that in your mind.
Right.
Is it coming? You're in the desert, look around, see the cactus, feel the sun on your back. What I've done over the last couple of months is given Gary several standard psychological tests and finding out exactly what makes him tick, why he's doing the run. And again, I'm very, very interested to find out exactly what kind of thought patterns he engages in, what kind of cognitive strategies he uses to overcome the stress, the heat, the exhaustion, the boredom. I'm going into unknown territory, really.
I feel as if I'm pushing frontiers, yes, I do. And I feel as if I can go even a lot further than what I'm capable of doing now. It's a hot wind. So what? Get on with it. Do the job. Whimpering over a bit of wind. Again, forgetting about my water, knocking it down me.
Pushing frontiers, questioning where athletes are going next. Athletes have run up to 200 to 250 miles in such extreme conditions. Gary Shopland set out to double that.
I want to go through life getting the best out of my ability as I can. And the only way to do that, and that's to stretch yourself, it's to stretch your body, it's to stretch your endurance. Bit of the bloody wind. Splashed half the bottle of water across me glasses. So I'm looking at dots now for the rest of the way. See these slits in the road?
Yeah.
Can't feel them.
Can you? Yeah, they're a bit of a nuisance, aren't they? Get on right on the inside, then you'll be clear of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, we'll drop back and drop bottle as usual. Okay?
Okay.
Good. That's cold this time. It's so very hot, I mean, you know, average of 120 degrees Fahrenheit, that it's clearly going to be exceedingly difficult to run in those sort of conditions.
Shall we do the same today, Joe? Yeah, let's tell him that we're planning 25 and let him do 27 so he feels like he's done more than we want him to.
Yeah, same thing as before. I mean, this morning he did just under 7. So he told him at about 6.5 that he'd done his time period, he'd done his 6.5 miles. How was he feeling? He went on, wanted to do a little bit more, so we let him go on to 7, and that will hit about the 27, 28 miles a day. Yeah, keep him above. The LA Olympics, there were marathon runners coming staggering in, suffering from heat exposure. So what are the limits to human performance like this?
He was so pleased with his performance yesterday. On my daily personal ratings that I asked him to give himself, he gave himself 10 for performance, 10 for effort, and 10 for satisfaction.
Great. I gave him, what did I give him? An 8.5 for performance. Yeah, he was all right yesterday. He did well. Yeah, I've got it. Okay. They're going to measure his body weight and how much fluid he's drinking and how much he's eating. Look at how much he's sweating. Look at his urine composition. We should be able to know, hour by hour, how Gary's body's sticking up to it.
Joe? Joe?
Yeah.
He told me last night he's developed this very effective strategy of dealing with pain. So I said, oh yeah, Gary, tell me about that. What exactly is it? Oh, I just ignore it. Yes, within our team, we know what training Gary's put in and we know what's been done on him in terms of acclimatisation.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny, that was.
What, swearing at that guy? Yeah.
Each day was divided into 4 legs of at least 6.5 miles each, making up the minimum target of 26 miles, 1 marathon.
Yeah, get a bit steadier, Gary. Okay, 12.2. 12.2.5.
At the beginning and end of each leg, they checked and recorded Shopland's weight to make sure his body weight remained constant.
Or fresh pork spare ribs for just $1.67.
It's going to burst. And all in fact, what potentially could be happening, you know, we've got some potential blisters around.
And during each break, they did a regular routine survey of his body's general wear and tear.
Hold your toes back now. I'm just going to lightly pad around there. You probably feel it stinging quite a lot. That's good. Look at that, isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Hurt?
No.
Shouldn't hurt as much now because the pressure will be out.
Just see, Chris, there's a more pressure on it.
Before and after each session, they read and recorded the outside temperatures, both the direct and radiant heat.
Is that tender?
Right?
That's tender, huh?
Yeah.
Let's take it easy. Try and loosen it out. It's a good job you're doing a lot of stretching as well now, isn't it?
Yeah, this is it. That's hard, that is.
The stretching?
No, not the stretching. Going out stiff.
Yeah.
Shopland ran each leg in just under an hour, followed by a rest period of an hour and a half. The first between 9 and 10 in the morning. The second between 11:30 and 12:30, the hottest part of the day.
4. Good. Look on the watch.
Yeah.
Right. Just off then.
the third between 2:30 and 3:30, and the final between 5 and 6 in the evening.
Yes, certainly Gary is engaging in a very, very arduous feat, much more so than the average elite athlete.
And he's doing it in an extreme environment. I guess the nearest guinea pig like Gary you could have would be Meissner, who went up Everest without any oxygen.
Before reaching Death Valley itself, the expedition used the 200 miles of straight Nevada highway to get Shopland acclimatized and to establish a working routine, relieved only occasionally by stops at small roadside shops.
We've been around.
Yeah, we're better than England.
The team lived in their 4-berth motor caravan, sharing the domestic chores, shopping, cooking, and maintaining the vehicle themselves, while Shopland rested.
The barbecue ones are.
I've seen you eating on my thing.
I was talking to a guy in a petrol station this morning. I was talking about temperatures in England, how we would call 70 really, really hot.
And
You can believe it.
as you said then at the time, these guys live around here, they don't have a tan.
That's right.
Because they're not stupid enough.
No, they stay inside. Yeah.
It's just amazing how pale they look.
Just drive fast cars and drink, don't they?
And wear baseball hats.
Put money in slot machines.
Sometimes I'll go out of my way to have steak.
Makes you very lazy though, the sun, if you're living here all the time, would have thought.
Pace is a lot slower.
Yeah.
Well, what you do is you get up fairly promptly in the morning and have a long lunch break, long siesta. Get going in the evening.
Oh, you know that. Too much time, bloody sitting about and lying down. Couldn't have that. Have to be doing something.
Action. The same old Shopland story. Got to be out there doing the job. Gary is an elite athlete by nature of the sporting feats that he's done in the past, but he's a very different elite athlete with a very different psychological makeup to other athletes I've worked with. And perhaps by studying Gary, I can glean some very pertinent information which might relate to other athletes working in hot climates who have to go out there day after day where the stresses of boredom, exhaustion and other things are very, very important.
First you take your pictures, then you take what you took to Thrifty and take your pick.
There was more than physical endurance to cope with, more to think about under the clear Nevada skies than running free. Shopland was daily preoccupied with the problems of keeping his expedition on the road, on time, on schedule, and in budget.
It's just pressure. It's all piled up and it's got him down. Media attention, problems with finances. We haven't really got enough money to do it. He feels that he's being used. People are using him to make money for themselves, TV and everything. He's under so much pressure out there. He thinks everyone's against him, everyone's out to make a quick buck, and he's the one doing the business. So he just needs calming down and talking to and putting things in perspective. So I'm just giving him a bit of rational behaviour therapy. He's basically out on that road, it's dead straight, he's been running for 150 miles and he's got nothing to think about, so started to think about all the other pressures that are on him in addition to just doing this arduous feat, i.e. running 500 miles.
It's certainly the hardest time of the day for him, isn't it? And he complains just before each time that it's a tough time for him.
Well, it's going to be the time when the stresses of whatever stresses are going to manifest themselves.
What was the sort of temperatures in the sun that he was experiencing then around about this time, would you say?
Oh, that's about 100 or so.
Yeah?
Yeah. in the shade.
You can't blame me with that bastard fella, but if a man can't moan now, when for Christ's sake can you moan in life?
Death Valley is a geologist's dream, an illogical sequence of unrelated images, a fantasy of natural forms, contorted salt formations, weaving sand dunes, gaudily painted canyons, a geological museum that preserves in its exclusive 3,000 square miles pristine samples of nature's experiments over millions of years. But the most significant and overwhelming fact for man is the heat. To help him cope with the extraordinary temperatures and to protect him from the fierce rays of the sun, Shopland wore a special suit of fine cotton and smeared zinc oxide cream over his nose and cheeks and under the eyes.
This bit here is to stop the reflection from going off the glasses. Burning me bone, cheekbone.
Temperatures have reached 136 degrees. Shopland's cotton suit was loose enough to allow the air to circulate freely around his body and to allow it to breathe. And it protected him against the excessive evaporation of sweat. His anti-glare glasses secured him against damage to the retina. Three million years ago, the floor of Death Valley was one huge lake. Time converted it into the lowest, saltiest place in the northern hemisphere. 500 square miles lie below sea level. The lowest point is Badwater, at minus 256 feet. After running for 200 miles along the hot Nevada highways, Shopland had completed his preparations for the big challenge. 8 days after leaving Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, he was ready to tackle the 146-mile run down through Death Valley.
The first thing I notice is the heat. As soon as you get out, whacks you straight in the face. Then it's definitely not the time to start thinking about the heat. If you haven't even started. I left the backup vehicle, knowing we're going to step outside, hitting expedition record temperatures.
I actually don't think, Steve, that we're on the Earth. I think this is the moon. Do you agree?
I just can't quench my thirst at all. You just drink, and then 2 minutes later you're thirsty again, all day. It's amazing. And we're not doing anything.
We're here sweating like pigs in the air conditioning. And what is it, 110 or something in the
with air
conditioning
fully on.
Forgetting my water bottle again. It's not an ornament. It's to knock it down just to keep you alive.
You've got to cope in this heat, aren't you?
I think so, yeah.
Gary, how does that feel compared to the environmental chamber back in England?
Cooler, I think. Cooler in the chamber. I don't know why, but it seems cooler. Well, if I was to think it's hotter, psychologically, I don't think it'll do me any good. So I'll say it's cooler for now and ask me when I've finished it.
It's obviously quite different to what we've been running in the last few days.
Obviously, we just going through a valley, and so you've got mountains either side of you, just getting a little bit tedious at times looking at them. But there's a lot to think about up there, upstairs, you know, to keep your mind off all the bad things.
Death Valley got its name during the gold rush of 1849, when wagon trains of prospectors trekked from Midwest America to the gold fields of California. One impatient group gambled with geography and tried a shortcut across the great American desert. They left behind them a lexicon of despair, names that chronicle their fate: Dead Man's Pass, Desolation Canyon, Dante's View, Hell's Gate, Last Chance Range, Devil's Golf Course, Arsenic Spring, Mount Misery, Coffin Canyon, Lost Wagons, Starvation Canyon, Suicide Pass. And if you cross Death Valley today, you still have to comply with the laws of nature and man.
We've got CBs in our radio, so the back one keeps in. When they see a car in the mirror, we CB onto them and say, get out of the way, there's a car coming.
Okay.
So we haven't found too much of a problem with that. We might like to have a word with the director.
No, I'm gonna tell the rangers and see if they can get it straightened out for you.
Okay. Right, thanks very much then.
All righty. The ranger told us to stop there.
Yeah. What happens is he does 4 7-mile runs a day. He's running a marathon a day, so he does 4 stints. What happens now, he's running 7 miles. We stop here for half an hour, 3/4 an hour, give him water and let him cool.
Yeah.
And then we move on to another bit. And then overnight we'll be camping in the campsites.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Well, the problem you got is that you're stuck with traffic with this thing when you kind of let people come along. Also, you need a permit like that to be legal in the money. It's because the road. No, I'm gonna tell the rangers and see if they can get it straightened out for you.
Right, thanks very much then.
All righty.
Okay. What do you want to do?
I want to carry on.
When?
No.
Where?
Doing the business, no.
Where do you want to start?
Where I finished.
We can't do that. We're breaking the law.
Why am I breaking the law?
Because we haven't got a permit.
I'm running.
We haven't got a permit.
Is a law against running?
Yeah. Yes. If you don't have a permit, you're breaking the law. We can't break the law.
Yeah, but that's not our problem. We told the embassy exactly what I was going to do, and it was down to them.
But, you know, it's somebody else's country, that's the problem. I mean, it's a pity that the advice was wrong from the embassy, but it's somebody else's country that you're running in. And what the sort of things that the ranger said to us is this is a national monument. It's where Americans come on holiday. His responsibility, all the organisation's responsibility, is towards ensuring that American citizens can use their land properly. And to have us tootling along on the side of the road is potentially causing a problem.
This ranger's main priority is the visitor to Furnace Creek. He doesn't give a monkeys about runs through Death Valley and things like that. He's concerned about his visitors. They are the priority #1. Doesn't matter how much of a world record attempt it is or how great an endurance feat it is. He's not interested. He's interested in his visitors.
They have to do their job. I think that's part of the reason why the ranger here is concerned, is because, as Steve says, I mean, he's looking after his public. And all he needs is some guy to come up and complain through to the local police or something that he can't get down Death Valley because there's some van crawling along the road at 10 miles an hour.
It's even a main road as well.
We're doing nobody any harm whatsoever, and now it's got to be disrupted and jump a little bit of America. I think it's absolutely disgusting myself.
We haven't got a running permit, see. We've got something called a special use permit, which applies to any sort of special use that goes on the park.
I think it's bloody disgusting, I do myself. Everyone's quick to criticise when you want to get off your arse and do something. And when you've done something, there's a little bit of bloody accident, who's it come down to? Not Gary Shopland, the blooming heroes, ran 500 miles, but who did you speak to? Again.
We're running in someone else's country, Gary.
Listen, you're speaking to me like a little kid. I do know this, Joe, all right? I've come out here to do a job. I don't want to carry on.
Last weekend, the Eldorado started off the celebration by giving away...
Perhaps the heat had distorted a detail into a major issue. Whatever, Death Valley had made its point. The team got their permit the next day.
Just a little minor hiccup there. Mistakes happen. You got to accept that. Lots of mistakes happen. So you got to get your head down, get back into the stride again, and see what's around the corner. Think to yourself, every step now is nearer. That's Vegas.
He's in a really good mood, isn't he? He's really high in spirits.
We hope.
Yeah, right, 10-4. Yeah.
Avenue and Pecos Road. Las Vegas Metro Police are on the scene. They say initial information indicates that one of two people aboard is dead. An eyewitness says the plane was approaching the Kennedy National Airport to the south when it struck power lines and flipped upside down in a van collapsed.
He's hitting about four bottles, 4.5 bottles per hour now, which is more than he was. Yeah. I mean, it's gone up over the last few days. So at least he understands the need to drink, and he's doing it. He's forcing that water in him, which is very important.
I went a bit cold then, you know.
A bit cold? Yeah.
When we come down that hill there, on that canyon,
yeah,
I felt cold. I felt cold.
Yeah.
That didn't appeal to me whatsoever. I mean, it could be psychological, but from a circularity point of view, that sounds very dodgy, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Chris. I mean, that's something that could happen. You keep an eye on him at the front. Make sure he's going in a straight line as well. It's the other thing we need to look out for. He doesn't start wobbling. But I think he's all right. I think all it was as he came over the crest of that hill and the wind caught him, it billows through the suit much more and it feels colder. I don't think it's a circulatory thing, but we'll keep a close eye on him.
Although it's the fourth session, it's still very, very hot outside, and there could be a problem with him collapsing, so he could collapse because heat exhaustion, not because he's feeling cooler.
Yeah, these distances are just so deceiving, it's unbelievable.
Imagine the old pioneers, the old 49ers coming along here. You were trapped. There's only one way in and one way out, really, isn't it, when you're driving down it, as far as they could see. And there's no way you're going to get over them mountains over there, and there's only one way through the valley. And this heat, particularly where we're going to now, it's crazy. Tender?
Yeah, it's a bit of a nuisance, that's all.
That's actually quite hard, that, mate.
Yeah, it's a bit...
I'll tell you what we'll do, it should loosen up, because you've been striking it all the time and putting pressure on it. Once you've had a shower and relaxed a while, it should loosen up. Yeah. See what we can do with it and clean it up a bit. Joe, do you have another one as well? Because I'm doing two opposite sides, mate.
What, white?
Yeah. Hey, fella.
Can't you cut it out or something, Chris?
No way, mate. No way.
It's uncomfortable though, running on that.
It's too hard. If I was to put a needle into that, mate, you would find it really horrible.
Yeah, I bet. Friggin' feet hurt. How my knees do. The bloody tar on the roads melting. My back aches, my calf aches, my blisters ache. My Achilles tendon aches. It seems as if my left-hand side of my body is dragging my right. Although it's hard for me in these conditions, I must try and keep cool, not to lose my temper with a backup team, because it's the last thing I want. Is to annoy them and trying to be nice to them and nice to everybody else, and the son's a bastard to me. What can you say? Just get your head down and do my job. I'm all right. Actually, just don't think about it. You want a paracetamol on you just in case, though? If you make jokes about the pain, you don't need paracetamol because you're laughing it off, aren't you? I like to please them, but at the same time, I've got to do the job in one piece. If I start flaking out now, it could stop me from doing that.
Let's have a hobble.
Yeah.
It's nice out here, though, isn't it?
Yes, right. The ice packs.
They'll do it good, though. When you start, you look in real pain, you're limping, and then as the day goes on, your style improves more and more. And then today, you finished really strong. It was a joy to see. It really was.
Well, that's that sort of priority thought patterns again, Steve. You know, I'm going to get the job done or limp about like a Burke all the afternoon.
The job's nearly done.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Let me go up first. Yeah.
Yeah, you go there. Cheers.
To imagine that by the side of you there's a cup, and inside the cup is your favourite drink. I want you to imagine that you lift up the cup, you put it to your mouth, and you drink a whole cup of your favourite drink. Concentrate and focus your stomach muscles, relax them, get rid of any tension. Down through the stomach, into your legs. Ease out the tension.
It's probably a big bastard right around the corner. 300 miles just to piss in the ocean. If there is a sign. Let's imagine there is one. You must learn to sort of control the pain within yourself and know what kind of pain it is. This is where the phrase comes in: if you don't conquer the pain, then you won't be a champion. from a limp to a little bit of a plod now. Must be the equivalent of somebody 4 inches away from you. Let's get the air out of my lungs first. Must be the equivalent of someone standing 4 feet, 4 inches away from your face, with a hot hairdryer, blowing it in your face. The mountains are getting slightly smaller around me, which normally means that the mountains are peaking off and coming to a summit. Which I could say the same for the east. The higher we go, the less cover off the mountains, the stronger the wind and the hotter the wind. Although it's pain, it's a very much alive feeling. You're putting the effort in, you're getting the pain, you're going for that goal. Hey lads! How's that, eh?
In the middle.
Death Valley on your right!
Put your right foot on my left.
Gary Shopland came through the furnace temperatures of Death Valley, on time and on foot. But his journey wasn't complete. He still had another 150 miles back to Las Vegas to cope with, and the blisters, and the boredom. He did it, and on schedule. 20 days, 20 marathons, 500 miles, Caesar's Palace and back.
Oh boy, this is it! Yay!
Take over it, Chris.
Oh, oh.
They only won.
Don't worry about it.
Yorkshire, who's planning to take on one of the world's toughest endurance records, the longest ever run. Now, Gary Shopland from Huddersfield is planning to run the equivalent of a marathon every day for a year and 10 weeks. Julie Lockwood has been to meet him.
Weston Park in Sheffield, a fair step from Gary Shopland's greatest achievement, running through Death Valley in California. But for his next venture, it isn't where Gary runs which is important, but how far. He's aiming for 11,134 miles. That's where sports science experts at Sheffield's Royal Hallamshire Hospital come in. Their tests will show whether Gary can cope with a marathon a day for more than a year.
We should be able to tell him whether his training is going correctly. We'll be able to tell him, hopefully, whether he'll be able to complete the record run that he's trying to carry out.
His chest shaved to be wired to heart monitors, Gary begins the first marathon of his training programme on a treadmill. Computer readings of Gary's breath and blood samples show just how his body reacts as the pace increases.
He's obviously a very fit guy, the amount of miles he puts in each week, so hopefully we'll be able to put a training program together for him to start on his run and just give him any information that he needs to complete the run in a healthy way, and he's alive at the end of it.
Gary's record run around Britain and across Europe could raise £1 million for charity, but the personal challenge is his driving force.
It's not just a case of putting one foot in front of the other day after day after day. It goes beyond that, as we know. And it's your capability to actually push yourself when you think everything's done, emotionally and physically.
For Gary, his name in the record books will make all the effort worthwhile.
Despite searing temperatures well over 100 degrees, Gary Shopland never takes his hat off. He's preparing for the kind of marathon I'd love to take part in, the Marathon of the Sands, 145 miles across the Sahara Desert. What better place to train for such a venture than that oasis near Huddersfield, Home Moss, where the temperature soared to freezing.
There's not a lot you can do in this country as regards acclimatising to the desert, apart from creating your own microclimate within yourself, i.e. anything regarding clothing, as long as it's really warm to make your body sweat. And that's the key, really, teaching your body to sweat, because that's going to be the survival factor in desert conditions. Death Valley, it's a different kind of heat. It was very, very dry. You would be running all day and you wouldn't be sweating, because what in fact was happening, you just evaporate as soon as it left your pores of your body. But this is different. In Sahara, I feel that it's going to be a lot more humid, so you will sweat. So really, there's a better chance of keeping an eye on your hydration and makes yourself you don't deplete and dehydrate. The Sahara is only one thing on my list I want to do this year. I've got the World Championships in April. I want to break the world record carrying 40 pounds over a marathon in October. That's late October. And early October, I want to go to the Himalayas and break the world record running from Everest Base Camp to Kathmandu. So I'm keeping myself occupied in between job hunting. I'm unemployed, so it's working out quite difficult.
He needs a sponsor, and judging by his forthcoming itinerary, anyone interested would certainly get worldwide exposure.
Through the Nevada and California deserts. His route will take him through some of the hottest spots on Earth, including Death Valley itself. Gary is used to tough conditions, though. You might remember we reported his run along the Andes in South America last year. Alan Clark has been in his car to see him prepare for his latest challenge.
Gary Shopland, a lifeguard at the Eastbourne Leisure Pool, says ordinary jobs are boring. He enjoys a challenge. He's a veteran of 2 Brighton to Gravesend quadrathons, said to be the world's toughest race, and last year he spent 9 months running 5,000 miles along the Andes in South America. Next month, Gary faces his toughest challenge, a 500-mile run in 3 weeks in the western deserts. That's the equivalent of a marathon a day. Staff at Brighton Polytechnic's School of Human Movement are supervising his training and will accompany him on the expedition. There's no doubt about Gary's physical fitness, but to help him fight the mental strain of running in high temperatures, which can cause hallucination, the school's sports psychologist has been teaching Gary to think cool.
What are you going to be thinking about in there today then, Gary?
The same thought patterns as usual, you know, the old thinking cool. I'll pretend the one that icebreaker again, breaking through the ice there in the Antarctic somewhere. Thinking of the cool Eskimo women about, not the hot page 3 girls, but the cool Eskimo women. You must think cool all the time.
Gary's spending an hour a day in an environmental chamber, which reproduces the torrid conditions he'll encounter in Death Valley, up to 60 degrees Celsius by day, down to 30 at night. In an hour in this claustrophobic chamber, which feels like walking into a furnace, Gary will lose 2 litres of perspiration. The electrodes attached to his body monitor heartbeat, skin temperature and deep body temperature.
if I was having to sort of stop and actually think about the heat and the conditions I'm in at the moment, then I would automatically think that it's bloody hot. You can actually fry an egg on the front here. I'm sweating quite efficiently now.
15 minutes to go, Gary. How do you feel?
Not too bad.
Okay, keep thinking cool. We'll talk to you later.
Joe, what's the temperature in there now? It's about 50 degrees centigrade, which is 120 degrees Fahrenheit, about the temperature in Death Valley in the middle of the day.
Is he coping with these conditions?
Yes, he is. He's clearly sweating a lot in there, sweating buckets in there, but he's doing well. He's doing well.
And he's obviously fit and ready for it.
He's very fit, ready to run a marathon today. Yeah.
Steve, from your point of view, is he ready? Is he going to make it?
Yes, I think Gary will make it. What sets Gary apart from other elite athletes that I've worked with is the power of his mind. It's not his muscles and his strength that gets him around, but it really is his determination, his concentration, and his focus of attention.
Despite the sweat loss, Gary's put on 1.5 pounds after an hour in the chamber because of the water he's drunk.
Right. There you go. Something to put on.
Thanks, Alan.
Hot in there, was it?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Bit cooler outside. How about some outdoor work?
Yeah, why not? Let's go for it, eh?
Gary's training programme also includes 120 miles a week on the Downs near Eastbourne. No one's attempted Death Valley and the deserts before, but the backup team are confident Gary will complete one of the most demanding tests of physical and mental endurance imaginable. A very blunt question. Are you stark raving mad?
Well, no, that's what I've had said to me, but people haven't got an excuse to call me mad this time, so I've got a sports psychologist working on my side, and he thinks I'm sane, normal, no problems there. Life as it is at the moment is very boring for me. I've got to do things difficult to feel the benefit of doing things difficult. It's certainly a nice sense of achievement when you've trained and dedicated your life towards a goal.
Perth, which is the last of the summer wine country. You know the characters, there's Foggy and Compo, Clegg, Nora Batty, and up here they say there's nowt so queer as folk. Well, we've come in search of an athlete who's coming to Oxfordshire on Sunday to try to break the world rucksack record. Yes, rucksack record. In fact, this is our man now. So here we are, the Friday feature. Come on and meet Gary Shopland. He's busy polishing his running boots and packing his rucksack. So Gary, tell us, what is the World Rucksack Champion? What is World Rucksack Running all about?
Well, it's a good test of discipline and personal endurance, but the actual rucksack record is 3 hours, 56 minutes and 10 seconds.
And this is running with army boots on, rucksack on your back, army kit?
Yeah, belts, denims, army lightweights, T-shirts, just a basic kit really for running these kind of things.
So what's in the bag?
You got 40 pounds of lead in there.
40 pounds?
40 pounds, what's the equivalent to, say, 18 to 20 bags of sugar.
And you go running with it?
Yeah, lots of cup of tea there, isn't there? Yeah, well...
That's some weight, isn't it?
Yeah, we have to do these things, don't we? But I've been training with a lot more weight than that.
Sunday morning, Gary Shopland will pull on his boots, tie the rucksack on his back and run the Abingdon Marathon, all 26 miles of it. For 3 years he's been in training to break the world record of just under 4 hours. He likes a challenge, does our Gary. He's the only man to have walked the Atacama Desert in Chile and the only man to run through Death Valley, the hottest place on Earth. Why? Let's ask him.
I think it's just how I'm built, how I'm made, really. I'm not satisfied unless I've got something there to achieve. See it, achieve it, and overcome it. You know, I'm happy doing these things.
And you've had 1 or 2 close shaves in your time. Tell us about the desert, because you nearly died there, didn't you?
Yeah, the desert of Atacama in Chile. Yes, because of my typical fair complexion, and I suffered from overexposure to ultraviolet radiation. And I got to the stage where I couldn't do much, and they carted me off to hospital. Come and got me from the mountain and carted me off to hospital. So I overcame that. A few weeks later, back on the road again to achieve the task I set out to do.
But it must kill you running up down these hills with a pack on your back and big boots.
Exactly. If it don't kill you, well, I wouldn't go say, well, it hurts, obviously, but you've heard the old thing, no pain, no gain. But nothing in life is won by luck, only through pain and sacrifice. And that's the only way you're going to achieve this goal, is to make yourself suffer.
What do folks think of you? Think you're crazy, you're mad, or you what?
Well, a lot of people say I'm mad, but as far as I'm concerned, it's just man's natural progression to push themselves to the limit. If you don't push yourself to the limit, you never know them at the end of the day.
It's heavy.
You'll be tough, but I'll do it, I'll manage it. The idea is, when you're going to do these things, is to do them safely and know when to stop, know your own limits. My regiment means a lot to me. I know I've only been in it a short time, but I'm doing it on their behalf as well. First initial couple of miles, your body reacts and has to get used to it. And once you've got over that initial breaking in phase, it's a lot easier.
I'm ready to go, but Gary's not here yet. 10 minutes late. He's really up against it now. Gary's done. Gary, 16 miles. How are you feeling right now?
Very, very hot.
Oh, guys! You've got 10 miles to go. Do you still think you can do the record?
It's touch and go, mate.
Gary is looking much worse than I expected. 16 miles gone, 10 miles to go. He's hit the wall of pain already. Now, if he can go through that wall, he's still got a glimmer of a chance of breaking the record. But if he doesn't, it's going to be one long, hard slog all the way home. Gary, you've done 26 miles, you've got 365 yards to go, you've worked hard all the way, you haven't got the record, you have finished the race. Good man! Take care, off we go. No, it's got to be in there, Dave. It is then, Scott. Well done, come on, well done. On your feet, back.
I'm upset that I didn't do it, but you know, it was the E-tree that prevented me from doing that.
You did finish it, you crossed the line, and then you collapsed. What was going through your mind at the time?
Just to get it off your back and just relax.
I mean, the heat dehydrated you. Did you feel that in your muscles?
About everything, really.
One can see you really have worked and given everything that you have got. Is that how you feel right now?
Yeah, I feel so, have you?
Gary, you didn't break the record, you did finish marathon, and I've got here your official London Marathon medal. Can I put it on you?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much, Chris. Thanks a lot. Thank you. I'm sorry I couldn't break it. It was a very hot day.
Come down a bit.
Perhaps have another go when it's a little bit cooler.
Go on, mate.
Congratulations. Thank you very much.